All right. What's wrong with the shot? We good? This is a good shot? I hate this shot. What's happening? Where are we? Nope. Wrong. Okay. Wait. Oh. What's happening? Are you deflating a basketball? The aerobed has sprung a leak.
I'm actually inhaling, but I make it seem like I'm not.
He's a master.
Acting.
He's a master.
All right, guys, so here we are to talk about iZombie. This is episode 14 of Season 2.
I fucked up the intro twice.
This episode was actually pretty great.
Can we start over?
Hello? No.
I'm like, let's cut that out. You're like, sure. We're leaving all that in. I can hear you. We're on headphones. He can't hear me. All right. This episode was great.
It really.
I was like
building
upset
up.
at how great this episode was.
Even from how it started, like everything about this episode, I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting and new. And
yes.
And I thought it was pretty great.
So I forget which part happens first, but
it opens up. They're in the coffee place, and it's Ravi.
It might open. Well, yes, but I think chronologically it might be a little out of order. But yes, let's talk about that.
So you meet like the cheeriest people in the world. Come look at this sidewalk.
Yeah.
All right, dead. And I was like, why the fuck didn't they show the sidewalk?
I know you don't see it till the very end, and I wrote it down on the bottom of the page. No, yeah, the feel of that. Do you remember like 3 episodes ago I was criticizing this show and I'm like, you never like travel down a hallway. There's never like weird those like certain shots. There's never like a thing with whatever. This like opening sequence like had all these things or whatever. I wrote down they hired a DP and then I wrote down but I hate him because like while I was writing that down, they're like back in the morgue now, and like Liv was doing something or whatever. And I'm like, did they hire a DP? And then like I looked up from writing it, and like there was weird, harsh like red light on her somehow, and I'm like, the fuck is that? And I was like, oh, I hate this DP. But no, like that intro really like if that was how the intros were, the show would be so much better.
It reminded me of Pushing Daisies almost. Like I'm like, oh, is this gonna be good?
Is this gonna be good? Yeah, the feel was great. The fucking non-anticipatory camera of like the thing hitting her and suddenly she's out, you know, because like we sometimes see the crimes, but like the technique of how they reveal the crime, if the crime happens early, that that we see, has always sucked compared to this. It's always been this was great, plain. Splat this bitch. So I think it might actually, for like a second start in the morgue, because he's like, this, stomach acid has dissolved all the condoms and all that stuff.
There's like it's like 10 seconds there. It was oddly quick there.
But then he's like,
we found one in his nature's purse or whatever.
Prison wallet.
Prison wallet.
I wrote it down in all caps. That's my first note. Season 2, episode 14. Prison wallet is like my first note. He's found 2 in his prison wallet, and then like he's like, but luckily I was able to find, blah, 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 and then Major's like, but could not find your dignity or something like that, because he had to go looking in his prison wallet, which I think is his butt.
It is indeed his butt.
It's his butt. So he had some condoms full of utopium in his butt.
Yeah.
This whole time. And they made, he synthesized some more cure, they injected a rat.
And that rat immediately becomes a zombie.
Yeah, they reveal that.
Like a hardcore zombie.
Yeah, they reveal that later, and I made a note of the word balls, because they did a little thing with like the dialogue between them where like Major said like I want to, but I just don't have the, and then they turn the corner and they see the rat, and then Robbie's like balls or whatever, because he now because he's saying like oh shucks or whatever. I'm a sucker for those interlacing conversational things.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a CG zombie rat.
Yeah, it's like, stage 2 and not eating a brain in a long time zombie.
Like a full-blown zombie mode, like open sores and like weird shit or whatever, which is bad. It's bad for Major.
Pretty bad. Well, it just means that they have to cure more now.
Yeah, it means that the cure is not a cure or something. Like I'm actually not even sure 100% how we should, because before Robbie synthesized something that would instantly kill a zombie, and they smashed it or whatever. I don't know if something is different now, because that rat's not on track with Major's illness, right?
Well, it's hard to say now.
I'm not sure how we're supposed to interpret this rat. We don't know
at what point, like, on a human physiology, because it went from you turn to a zombie and then you die again, like permanently dead. That's what's supposed to happen. And then with this clone, they've double dosed it, and this happened. But maybe it wouldn't even happen right, because like maybe the clone's a little different, or it's,
that's what I mean. Like
mice could just be different. Who knows?
I'm not sure how we're meant to interpret this event. I know that on the show they're saying, "Oh, I can't inject you now because you'll instantly become like a full-blown zombie."
Yes.
I read that fine, But I'm also like, wait, that's a clone of another rat who's not nearly at the same number of days as Major. Who what? I don't know if that's an accurate like way of doing it.
Nothing's tremendously accurate here, but that's not what the show's all about.
Absolutely not.
I do like that he can't just get cured, because I don't like things being, simple and just wrapped up with a nice little bow. I like it to be like, oh, maybe Major will die. He's less pivotal than he used to be. There's a new love interest. He could die.
He could die.
Yeah.
He's not a badass zombie hunter so much.
No.
I liked the cooking montage here.
Where she makes like a scone or whatever.
Or something?
I assume that I assume she was already using the power of the brain she was about to get to make those.
Was weird.
I was like, that's something that you would have at a coffee shop. Did she make that because it's a coffee shop person's brain, or is that a flub? Like, what is that?
So again, because I think last episode I spotted something where she was already acting like she was on the brain before the brain happened.
Yes, you did. The FBI
and it was
agent.
like, right, where I'm like, wait a minute. So I don't know.
Maybe she is psychic.
I was just going to say that. Oh my God, are you psychic?
I am.
Oh no. Yeah, but the cooking thing was really cool. Again, like, I like that shit. But I don't know what the fuck those things were. I was like, is that focaccia? Is that a pasty? What am I looking at here? There were like almonds in there or something?
I took it was like a 5-seed almond bar.
Yeah, but like, you don't put brains in that. It's crazy.
But you can.
You totally can.
Brains are like a white T-shirt. They can go with everything.
They go with everything. It's like a good old pair of blue jeans.
It's very true. Because you can dry them, and they're like a nut. They have a consistency of an almond.
Like blue jeans?
Just like. Acid washed,
So the bitch is dead. She gets the brain. She's insufferable. Her fucking... I wrote down, very airy, Gary Derryberry.
I loved the old prison mate Pam.
Okay, yeah.
She said something that made me die. Oh, what was it?
So they go up to the apartment where the air conditioner was pushed from.
I am in between lovers at the moment.
Yes,
I was like, oh, can we set her up with Eugene from The Walking Dead?
They find, and so back when Liv was in prison for like a weekend or whatever, she has this, and I believe I called her like an impossibly loud stereotype of like a black woman or something like that. But she's back now because she's working at the Second Chance Optimism coffee shop or whatever. And yeah, she was up there taking a smoke some pot break after breaking and entering.
Was she smoking it out of a pen?
That was like a weird vape pot thing or something,
I was like,
right?
Is that a big pen?
Was you smoking with a pen bong?
Is that a clicky pen?
That was a pen bong. They sell those at gas stations.
Oh.
But
Sunoco.
yeah, she had a bunch of funny lines, or like not funny lines, but like,
only I'm in between lovers like made me actually laugh.
I never actually laughed, but I like remember her character, and they actually kept it consistent and like, again, like there's funny like laughing funny, and then there's funny like I can tell you want this to be funny and it's fine, and that was sort of like that.
That's mostly everything she says is you're like, they're writing this thinking it's gold, and I'm like,
yeah, well, it's not gold, but it was enough like. It did not offend me, or whatever.
It wasn't pewter, is what you're saying.
It was this cubic zirconia version.
It was lead
of a shining
that Da Vinci
diamond.
one day could turn to gold.
But not yet.
But not yet.
No, because she was like, I see your lips moving, but it's the system talking, or something like that. Yeah. Because she's got this whole like, that's double jeopardy. You can't arrest me. I was already arrested for like possession or something like that. Like she has that. Again, it's like I'm neither offended by the stereotypes nor the pathetic attempts at humor. It's just like flat to me. It's fine.
Sure.
And they make you think for a minute like she might be involved because she was like accused of stealing money and all that other business. But we move on with the whole fucking episode.
Yeah.
Should we just talk about the case more? Should we just knock that all out?
Go right ahead.
Is that the guy from and you will be like, you racist if like it's not. Is that the guy from The Office who owns
my God, you're a racist.
Oh no.
Yes, that's Oscar Martinez from The Office.
Okay. He was carrying himself differently in this, so
he's older now.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's him. But then as the episode went on, I'm like, wait, maybe I'm racist. Maybe it's both. I'm willing to accept that.
Now that is him, and I was like, oh, good for you doing something.
Yeah, good for you and Carla from Scrubs and everybody else.
Yeah.
But he owns the coffee shop next door. He used to be married to, or whatever the fuck, the chick that owns the other coffee shop. It's basically the same coffee shop, only his is like a coffee shop, and hers is like a fancy. We draw like a fancy thing in the coffee shop.
Hers is a modern, coffee shop.
Yeah, well, his is just like a coffee shop, where it's like painted black, and the person's rude, and he's like, "You get your coffee faster because we don't waste time drawing in it." And she's like, "Oh."
What was it called? Like, Morning Grind?
Yes, or
I
something,
like that.
right? Yeah. Did I write that down?
And the other one was called Positive?
Daily Grind, yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, no, so he has motive, because, like, she's sort of like now she's winning the best coffee thing because people are idiots and they're falling for it. We use the exact same beans or something like that, and I'm like, right, whatever. Ravi.
Were the prices exactly the same? Because that would be my biggest thing. I'm like, well, if they're using the exact same beans, who's cheaper?
It chose not to analyze that section
They
of
never
it.
said it.
But just to burn through the case, this is a little side thing where Ravi likes this waitress or whatever.
Yeah.
But she doesn't even know about Star Wars.
Yeah, she fell short for him.
So he doesn't like her no more.
Oh, is that a Ford? And
they said, "Oh, you like transgressive rhymes," or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Great." Ravi's very downtrodden with this whole thing. He's had several, love interests now. Where he's like, "Oh,
yeah,
I'm already a bit clingy."
I'm sure Peyton will eventually be back with him.
That has to be what they're setting up here, right?
Has to be.
She's the only one intelligent enough and assertive enough to.
Well, yeah, and she only fucks dead people and bad people, so.
Right. No, and she's not tainted by the way. All right. Your boss is rude. What's that from?
Like what in life, or what line is this?
They question
that's
like.
That's when they're outside the coffee shop and
the
they say, "Where
girl.
were you? Blah 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 blah. Are you the murderer?" And she's all offended.
Are you asking for my
but
alibi?
She is.
She totally is, and she manipulates her boyfriend, who's not French. I like that fucking detail where he like the episode presents him as this like French guy from France, exchange student, artist type, and then it's like, you mean Gilbert?
Yeah.
All that shit. No,
Gilbert?
No, I'm his mom, and he like fucking did someone else yell at him for not putting out his damn cigarette or whatever? Like she was very like, ugh.
He's not from
like,
France. He wishes.
Right? Like, ugh, kids are awful and all that stuff. So he's.
I would love to meet someone that's like that.
Who's living the lie like that?
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like, and not just like meet them in passing. I want them to be a part of my life and be like, I need to know more about you. What?
It's a disturbing and interesting pathology, right? To be like,
because I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, but I like, how different is that than someone like, oh, I like red, so I wear red, like,
or like, I'm super goth, or all of a sudden I'm like, like there were probably kids who like didn't even really skate, who were all of a sudden wearing all the skating shit and talking about the fucking
that was
shit,
just
right?
A trend.
Yeah. But like people adopt certain things. This one's even crazier, right? Because I assume the people in his life didn't know. Is that possible? That like she thought he was French? That can't be, right?
No, that's impossible.
But that's even crazier to me. I don't know. It's crazy.
That would be ridiculous.
But
if
like,
you meet, well, I watched a YouTube series about a guy, and it was like Sonny's Days at School or something, and it was this kid who was from California, moved to a different school in California, and told everyone he was from Japan. And he spoke with like really broken English, and he would ask really funny questions because he doesn't know. And he would come home and record his YouTube show about like, so I did this today, blah blah. Felt kind of bad.
Was he Japanese?
He was Japanese.
Okay, that's awesome.
And his brother went to the same school and didn't have an accent, and he'd be like, oh, he went to a different school than I do.
That's so like that makes sense almost because he's doing it like on purpose or something.
But
like
so
that.
like it was his like senior. It was like going into his senior year to the end of the junior year, and he's like I decided just to tell everybody, and like he's like goes to different school, like different classes, and individually tells people.
Does he record it?
He does.
Okay.
And he's like people are trying to like Snapchat his thing. He's like no Snapchat, this is private. I don't know, because he doesn't want anyone to know the secret before he tells them the secret.
Right.
And it was just really funny. He's like, and like so he's like yeah, some of my teachers they wanted to punch me in the face. He's like the one that I didn't understand what a tampon was. It made her explain it to me. Like
it turns out that was bad to do. Oh my god.
But it was hysterical.
That's because like we live in such a politically correct sort of like society. You can't be like, are you even French? Like,
but what was great was
you're not Japanese enough for that.
He would start his conversation in his very thick broken English accent, and then he would just stop using it and then start saying something else. And like it takes everybody like 30 seconds before they even realize like something different happened.
Yeah.
And then you'd see like one person who like. And then he would start to like say like what has happened. It's like, so I moved here and now I'm like
no, like
what?
Did he have that like there's an Asian guy voice that's like a little too low. It sounds like for them. We're like, listen, man, this is what I'm doing. This is, and it sounds very
Kind
like
of.
whatever. I'm like picturing the transition because the like foreign stereotypical Asian guy I'm so sorry is like high.
Yes, that's when he went from that to this.
So now he's like, I like rap. I do this.
He was talking to some like security guards, and he's just he's like. So I came here a year ago. You'd be very nice to me.
Thank you.
But this is really how I talk.
Yeah.
Just for fun.
So it's this like dramatic shift.
They look at him for 30 seconds and they're like, "Ha! That's great."
That's great.
It was just like the reaction was his friends,
That's the best response,
like his 6 best friends he told, and they're like, "What? No. What? We joked that this was all an act once. What?"
That's amazing too. Yeah, I would love to like interview the group and be like, so when did you suspect it might be an act? And like learn that fucking shit, because that's like deep cover fucking spy shit or something at that point. Like that's amazing that he was able to pull that off. The friend who recorded
it was a friend who accidentally came across his YouTube channel one day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he had code names for everyone in his life, so like he wasn't like revealing their details.
Okay.
So it'd be like Hawk said this today, blah blah. He's like, "Am I Hawk?"
That's amazing too. That's a great way to do it too, so that once people do find out, they don't feel as betrayed. Like, wait, you were like trolling me for like years? It was multiple years.
Yeah.
And then like put it all on the internet. Like, oh, people are so dumb because they believe me when they have no reason to think I'm lying. Like, fuck them. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking the whole time watching this French guy. Where I'm like, what the fuck is like? Well, like, and his French accent was decent. Like, I didn't suspect anything.
Honestly, when he was being French, he was a much more like believable character to me. Once he started not being French, I'm like, you suck. It turns out, or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I guess he's a good actor then. I don't know. This fucking.
Maybe he's really German.
Maybe he's really something else, Afrikaans. But there was another like cool scene. So like they get him to confess. She got him to do it, like the girlfriend, because she, hates the mom now, because she's all.
What do you even say to someone to make them 100% take the fall for murder for you?
All I said was, I love him.
It's so weird. You could
Stefan,
like, do anything.
Stefan, love makes you stupid. That's the whole outro monologue.
It's true.
Love makes you stupid.
And bitch just walks away like she's fucking. I can't think of the girl's name. Who throws the hat in the air? I'm gonna make it. What the fuck?
Oh God.
Something more? No, right?
Fuck.
Whatever.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but yes.
Yeah.
Mary Tyler Moore?
Mary Tyler Moore.
Boom.
Yeah.
No, like she got away like Nev Campbell in like that movie that I'm getting bad with this. What is the name of that movie?
Wild Things?
Wild Things, yes. I almost had it.
So the first check she gets from the father is for $350,000? Did I read that correct? Was there a zero more? Was it 3? Because I'm like, how much does a successable coffee business cost? And I understand that's like check 1 of like, because they say like the escrow check or whatever it was. But I was like, I'm like, how much do you need? And then I'm like, well, I guess how much do you need to murder someone and have a good life? I guess $350,000 would do pretty good.
I don't know. She fucking got away with it, and she like gets away and goes off or whatever. But they do this like very I'm not gonna say great scene, but like uncharacteristically 3-dimensional, where like some like guy who's being like arrested is being rowdy, and Babineau realizes, and he sees the girl, and they like pull the slow-mo and they drop the audio, and he's like no, and he's trying to get through and all that stuff, and they have the angles and all that shit. And I was like, oh, this is like a real scene from like a real show. I'm very impressed with you. Thank you. And yeah, that's where she like got to him because they were supposed to isolate him so that he would continue the confession, but somehow now she's tainted him, and he's gonna take the fall and all that shit because love makes you stupid. No, she like manipulated him.
But I can't even imagine what you could say to make me go to jail for the rest of my life.
Well, he just wants to protect her.
Don't care.
Yeah. So you I don't think would have killed the mom in the first place.
No.
Right. So having already done that and having bought into all that, now the only decision he has to make is, do I ruin her life, or do I protect her?
And if you're gonna kill somebody, that's like the worst way to do it. Like
probably.
Like, why make it so public? What if someone just saw you push the thing? What if someone was in the hallway when you ran back out of that room? Like, it's foolish.
No, it's foolish.
It makes for good TV, I guess.
Yeah, it's like a weirdly elaborate plot.
Yeah, I'm gonna draw this thing. Who? The art student? Yeah.
No, and like so it's the Mona Lisa on the sidewalk.
That would have taken her like 8 hours.
Long time. Very, 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 both an elaborate murder plot and elaborate sidewalk art. And it rains a lot in Seattle.
I was gonna say, and in Seattle of all places.
Whatever. No, but like, and like his mom is a realtor and had access to this empty apartment because of that code or whatever. Like, once they had the beat on him, it was very easy to zero in and like get him and all that stuff. So, I think their take on it as like the show's producers or writers is like, love makes you stupid, and here's the thing.
Yeah, no, and people have done stupid things. It's just that it struck me as so like, I don't know if that's believable.
It's like,
because I'm like, how old are they? Like 18? Yeah. I'm like,
it's like outlandish and shit. But the only thing that's saving it for me that I like about it is that like she got away. It had like a dark ending. Whereas usually, even if someone's gonna get away, it might happen once or twice. But like, even if someone's gonna get away or like get away with it, something then collapses or falls apart, or like she has a vision or something, whatever. But here it was like Cruel Intentions, like, nope, I'm, this is what's happening. Yeah, it's it's happening. So, I dig.
Yeah.
I crossed that out.
Chump sons of bitches.
So, that's the case, I think, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much the case in a nutshell.
So, fucking throw that shit away. Let's get back to the good part of the show.
Yes.
Blaine.
So, Blaine, I forget if there's a part before. So like I love the double wide coffin thing. I love that you know, he takes that bitch down. Eventually find out that he has converted her.
Okay, yeah. So there's a lot of stuff that happens here. Stacy Boss's man comes to collect the money. He mentions Chinatown or whatever. See you later, Chinatown. And then
he's like, oh no, someone knows.
I wrote down, I wish I'd seen Chinatown. But it turns out they explicitly explain why his, and like that's his old nickname because he fucked up and like cut a guy, and that's the only thing I know from Chinatown is that Jack Nicholson's like nostril gets like cut out or whatever the fuck. So I was like, okay, fuck, fine. So like, it actually fills out Blaine's backstory a little more, which is that he's always been this, like, he's not just like a random street soldier who he was always like trying to make moves and play both sides and do all that stuff.
We told him he could have that corner if he could take it. He took it.
Yeah, well, and so explaining this all to Stacy Boss makes a click in his head because like the whole story is, he got some like random guys to get the like enemy gang's tattoos and then fuck with the cops, and now the cops were fucking with that gang, and then he's like, so the cops were just it's like the cops were like working for us, and he's like, and now the DA is working for Blaine. I got it, or something like that, and was like fuck. There's some great work about a steak or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. After my first kill, I went and got myself a double cup porterhouse or whatever the fuck.
What does he say? It went smooth, like filling out a 1040A, which is which is like the basic tax form or whatever the fuck, which is hilarious. Got myself a steak afterwards or whatever. It's a good ritual. Like, he starts off saying like, your first is always like, memorable or something like that, and you think it's gonna be, because I just watched the True Romance scene with James Gandolfini, and like, there's that stereotypical speech. Well, the first one's this or whatever, but then you do it again, it's not so bad. Then you do it again. Now I just do it for fun, just see a look on her face or whatever, right? They do like that shit or whatever. But this is a total subversion of that, where he's like, the first time is very memorable. Mine went really smoothly or something like that. And I was like, that's hilarious. As he's this
little weaselly bastard.
Little weaselly, maniacal, murdery bastard.
Yeah. So they go and pay a visit to Blaine while he's playing the piano after a coffin shag. And then all of a sudden the organ's not working. Oh, it's unplugged. Let me go get that's odd. Like, oh no.
Yeah. So Stacy Boss and the people are in the car
taking him to the
escorting
woods,
Blaine away
to a shallow grave. And just as he gives a little speech like, do you ever play Dungeons and Dragons? And,
in the car.
About praying to his God. He's like,
hold on. 400 years. And he says, like, what? And he goes, like, that's the combined sentence of all the guys that your fucking, traitorous ass is putting in, what am I supposed to say to them if you're my new business partner? And he's like, I don't know. And then he goes,
sorry?
You ever play Dungeons and Dragons? Yeah, he's like, and he was a dungeon master or something like that, which is hilarious. And, like, he frames it up like you just said, where like people would make dumb mistakes and they'd pay for it. But in that last moment, there was always the Hail Mary, the hope that something would happen or whatever.
Yeah,
and
so
you're
pray
like,
whatever God you want can come and clean house on that battlefield.
Time to make the God call. Something.
Yeah.
All that shit.
So I was picturing, especially with that setup, I'm like, okay,
Yes.
they're going to kill him, a.k.a., not kill him.
Yep.
He'll immediately turn to a zombie and kill all of them.
That's what I thought, too.
That didn't happen. And then I was like, oh, it'll probably happen now that he went, gods? Any gods? He'll burst up and kill them. No. And then
I expected that, too.
Then when Ron E. or whatever his name is goes back home, sees that girl eating a brain, he's like, oh. I was like, okay, so he's infecting her, which means he has the power to infect, which means he's a zombie. And bam, he gets up out of the grave.
So I wasn't as clear on that, at first, but I figured it out like seconds later or something like that, because you couldn't tell what she was eating, and I'm like, oh, wait, was she? Okay, so she wasn't a zombie before, obviously, that makes sense. And I'm like, wait, no, right. I had this whole thing because I like forgotten if she was a zombie or not, I think, or something like that. Was the whole thing. But I really liked the like shot from like above where Stacy Boss is like, anything, God? I think we're good.
Yeah.
And the whole thing, I was like, it's awesome, fuck. And like he, they fucking slit Blaine's throat. Like he's getting ready to do his like, I'm talking before I, and they just like cut him off quite literally. And I was like, okay. I liked Blaine being like, a hole. Someone could fall in. It's not safe or something like that.
Yeah.
Like still being like a wise ass. I like that whole thing. But yeah, it sort of ends, I think, literally ends on, there's some kids in like the woods and Blaine.
I was sitting there like, oh, is he going to kill them all?
Is he going to eat all these kids?
And then he just like rips off their blanket and walks right past them.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
It looks like he still has like the wound in his neck.
I didn't catch it because he was so dirty.
He's so dirty, it's hard to tell, so I'm not sure what that's meant to be or whatever. Mm-hmm. But the guy who washed up on shore, who was a zombie, still had like the lines from like the propeller in his face.
Yes, he did.
But I think they went away because you see him again later.
They scarred over, I thought.
Oh, weird. We're still unclear as to the exact rules of the zombie verse in this show and healing or not taking damage or whatever the fuck, but that's going to be awkward if he has a gigantic wound in his throat. But he's a zombie again.
Yes, until he dies.
Well, yes, but like, what? So, what do we think this means? Does it mean that if like Major were to die, would he just come back as a zombie? Is it like the timing of it, or is it that it's lying dormant in you?
I think he was already a zombie,
coming back to being a zombie. Okay.
Yeah, because he infected her before he died.
That's true.
So he was already a zombie, just didn't know it yet. Like the craving hadn't hit because he just turned back, I think.
Yeah.
But I think now he's gonna go after Stacy Boss. Maybe do some fun god play on things like. So I did. I prayed to my gods.
Sorry, I got the voicemail, but he got back to me. So something like that. Some fucking thing.
Because he has a theme for the Dramatica.
Yeah.
A flair.
A flair.
So I think it'll be something interesting like that.
No. So like when they were setting up that he was gonna die or whatever, I was like waiting for him to be like, oh fuck, like. Sorry, I don't know. And then, like, to be like, I'm getting sick and I'm becoming a zombie or, like, whatever. I was waiting for some weird setup like that. But they didn't do any of that. So I was like, wait a minute, is he just going to die? And then he dies. And I'm like, wait a minute, he's just going to die? And then they show her and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah.
Just for, like, because I had that second of doubt that maybe they wouldn't do this, like, because it was a fairly obvious thing. He's a guy that used to be a zombie or whatever. So if it's just the timing of it, I feel like that's super lucky and kind of dumb. I was hoping that it would be a thing where, like, when you die, you'd, like, come back now because you have it in you or something like that. But that would mean that Major could be spreading zombieism to people, and, if we, like, apply the same rules or whatever.
Yeah.
And who has he boinked? Did he boink Gilda Rita since he's been cured? I don't think so, maybe.
No. That was another huge thing we haven't touched on yet.
There's two other things we haven't touched on.
Yeah.
Are we done with the Blaine thing?
I think so.
All right.
He comes over to
Major comes over.
Major comes over. She's expecting Drake. Damn it.
Josh?
So she's expecting him to come over. Major gets over there. She's kind of like rushing. Like, oh, I have someone. Blah, blah. And the door opens. It's her fucking roommate who's never there anymore. And he's like, oh.
The fucking music cue that plays. It was like a real. I'm like, this is how the show should be the whole time.
But that was great, and she introduces him, blah, blah, blah. He leaves, and when he leaves, says, see you, Rita, and it clicks in fucking her fucking head. Like, because
it's like, this is my roommate, Gilda.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, I guess it won't be the last time. Okay, weird, awkward, and then, bye, Rita. And then she goes, was great. It was fucking
Goes
great.
through her thing, finds the exact panties that she
I was
wearing,
like,
that
oh
one thing,
shit,
and
girl.
I was like, hit her, and then she hits her, and
Literally.
I was like, yes.
Yes, it was awesome.
Make sure to get the fuck out before I destroy everything in your whole life and kill your face.
So I thought it was like uncharacteristically like bad of Gilda Rita to even like get caught like that or get caught up in that because they were painting her as someone where that wouldn't happen or whatever. And after she gets hit, she's like, and she's like, no, get the fuck out. I'm gonna burn everything you own.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So
that was wonderful.
That's dope.
Which might let Peyton move back in.
That's true. We have to get rid of Rita Gilda somehow, and I guess this is how we do it.
Because Peyton moved out of Ravi's to go where? Did she get her own place?
She was talking about like my place is ready or it's not ready or something like that. I'm not.
Yeah.
I do not remember the. No. She said because Ravi's like, you could just stay here, and she's like, my new place has like a hot tub and some other shit and this other shit or whatever. Yeah, and he's like, Major be the doorman. No, he's very tough. He's fine. He'll protect you. Yeah.
Two strapping lads.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, maybe she'll move back, or maybe Liv will move out of that place now and move in with her. Who knows?
Or Drake will be there now. Or Major
maybe.
will be there now. After the Drake thing happens.
See. So Drake gets picked up by the police after his talk with Mr. Bausch, and
we should set up that like last episode we even questioned it, like they don't really show like a dead body.
Yeah.
Drake goes to kill some informant guy and then they just like don't reference it and then he's away for a bit and blah blah blah.
Yeah. So he gets picked up by the police. You find out it's because he's like getting picked up to spill some beans. They talk about that guy he killed and how he's in witness protection now and he has to stay that way or else it's gonna reveal who he is and he'll get killed.
Right, like
right. I love when he punched that cop. I'm like, what are you doing, idiot? And I'm like, oh, it's to sell the story.
Yeah. So this whole time, and we kind of said like, oh, is this guy a horrible person? This is rough now, right? Because like, oh, like he's a dangerous man. Like instantly was like, yep, I'll kill this guy or whatever. But he's deep cover in Stacy Boss's organization. Which is weird that he's then helping give Blaine information, because shouldn't he be the one who has the information and giving it to his people or something?
But I don't think he's a cop. I just think he's a snitch.
Oh, yeah?
That's how I took it.
They've been saying undercover and all that stuff, so I thought he was like an agent or something.
I don't know.
I don't know what the terminology is. We'll find out more. This is like a major revelation now on the show.
Yeah, to see where it goes.
We're like, now he's a super good guy. So he's like...
Or he's like a double agent.
No. I was just going to say, like he's a double agent undercover zombie cop. Like, that's his fucking...
That'll be a spinoff.
That's what's next to your fucking character name in the fucking bio thing. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because he's working for Stacy Boss as his cover, but he's really a cop though. But he's like betraying Stacy Boss to Blaine that the cops might not even know. Yeah, no, the cops don't even know about Blaine. In this context, the FBI knows about Blaine because they ask like, do we know who's moving in on Mr. Boss's territory or whatever?
Yeah, no.
And he's like, no, do we or something like fucking play it off. And I'm like, oh my god. So what is his angle? What the hell's going on here? This is great. I love this.
No, it is. It is more complicated and interesting than I was originally thinking.
Or than I ever could have possibly thought on this show would happen.
Yeah. I'm curious as to where that's going to all go. And what do you even say, though? You just punched a cop in the face. Like, assaulting a police officer is not just like a walkout.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Those guys seem like idiots, and I feel like it'll work, whatever he has to say to them or something like that. Or like maybe Stacy Boss does something to like get you released or something like that. He's an up and comer in his org.
Maybe.
I have no idea. That's the least of my concerns. My main concern is like all these phone calls where he's like, yeah, I can't make it. Like, is he with the cops? Is he with this? Is he with Blaine?
Like,
yeah, like, what is happening? This is crazy. I like that the cop's partner was like super literal.
Yes.
And kept being like, well, ghosts aren't real. And he's like, it works either way. Jeez, stop.
Yeah.
Like
if ghosts existed.
Yeah. Quit shutting me down, God, or something like.
I like that guy was Elliot from Just Shoot Me.
Is that him?
Yeah.
I thought it looked like him. That's awesome. Yeah, great.
I like him a lot, actually.
He's good. Yeah, one of those guys that seems like a cool guy.
Yeah, he's been a couple. He was in Veronica Mars. He's pretty good. Some other cop show, Once Upon a Time.
I've seen him around.
What are any closing thoughts on this episode?
Little button again, like the music cues. They play Champs-Élysées, a like French song, the Champs Élysées. In one of the coffee shop montages or whatever. and it sort of plays into
to the French.
Well, it's got that French nod. It has the bouncy vibe, and then they're like making the stupid coffee things, and they play some other song that's like the polar opposite of this, like it's this like happy fucking old French song, and they play some like super opposite song during like once they cut to like the Daily Grinds coffee shop, and they're doing more stuff like that, and like I made note of that only because when I thought like oh, they're using music now, and I'm like, have they always used music? I don't remember any music ever. Wow, did it just suck? Did they just start doing it? That's interesting, because I think twice now I've been like, that's cool. They're using this, they're using this song, or they're making this musical choice or whatever. So it seems like, because like that's one of those things that we talk about that's almost like free. It's just like someone on the team just has to think of it and say, we should use this song here, or we should use this song here, and then use another song there in like similar scenes, like a storytelling technique or something, right?
And they may finally be doing things like that.
So is the show so? My final thoughts, I guess, are like, it seems like those fucking British shows where there's like 3 90-minute episodes are doing it right, because you could cut this, season 2 now into 3 90-minute episodes. Yeah. That would be good.
You could.
So why is there another like 7.5 hours of show? What the fuck is that doing there?
Well, that's to sell commercial time.
I'm like upset at those filler episodes that were just garbage, where nothing moved at all, and there was no Blaine, and it was just a stupid case that wasn't even good. Like those, like now. Bother me more, because season 1 kind of did that, but then you were like, okay, season 2 could be different, whatever. Season 2 is just longer, has the same trajectory in the middle, where it just dips down and you're in like fucking Fillerville,
and then rise,
and
then shatter.
Well, because now we're getting towards the end, so this is that like bump before like.
Yeah, so we have 3 episodes left on this season, right? Or is there 4? How many
5?
No. Oh, it's 19 in this episode?
15, 16, 17, 18, 5, 19.
There's 19, okay.
So this is like the bump that sets up, and it did it perfectly. Blaine's a zombie, Drake's undercover, Liv kicks out the roommate, the cure doesn't work. This is like literally in that like storytelling 101 class, this is that like thing before the big thing at the end. This is like the bump that sets it up and puts everything in motion.
This
so
is
like
the cause.
Yeah, so I'm into it or whatever.
No, it's on the rise. I'm interested to see what happens next week.
Yeah.
Until then, don't die in a fire.